Think your carry-on is good to go for 2026 just because it was fine last year? You might want to think again. Airport rules have been quietly changing, and security is now flagging bags for reasons that have nothing to do with your liquids. And the wild part, most travelers have absolutely no idea. We're talking about surprise gate check fees because your bag is too heavy, not too big. We're talking about getting pulled aside for something as simple as protein powder. People are dealing with frustrating delays, getting hit with unexpected fines, and even having their stuff taken away. In this video, I'm breaking down the 12 critical carry-on rules for 2026 that are practically designed to get your bag flagged. And these aren't the same old tips you've heard a million times. We're diving into the new enforcement tactics and the hidden regulations that will save you time, money, and the sheer stress of having your bag torn apart at security. And you'll definitely want to stick around for the final point. It's the one rule everyone thinks they know, but millions still forget, instantly flagging you for a full bag search that could make you miss your flight. So if you want to breeze through the airport like a pro, hit that like button and stay with me. A smooth start to your trip literally depends on it. Picture this. You're at 35,000 FT, and suddenly loose batteries in someone's carry-on start to overheat. We're talking over 1,000 degree IF. The cabin fills with toxic smoke, and the pilot has to make an emergency landing. Hundreds of passengers are delayed, and the airline is out thousands of dollars. And this isn't some made-up horror story. It's happening more often than you'd think. That's why TSA agents are now specifically trained to catch loose lithium batteries before they ever make it onto your flight. So, here's what they're looking for. Any battery that isn't in its original packaging, safely inside a device, or tucked into a proper battery case is going to get taken away on the spot. When batteries are just rolling around in your bag, they can easily touch metal things like keys, coins, or even just bump into each other. That can create a short circuit, generating insane heat in just seconds. The fire risk is so real that flight crews get special training just for battery fires because they're almost impossible to put out mid-flight. And you'd be surprised what counts as a loose battery. Those backup phone chargers, spare camera batteries, vape batteries, even the batteries for your power tools, they all need to be protected individually. Even if you think you're being clever by wrapping a battery in a shirt, TSA still considers that loose. If they see it during the screening, your entire bag is getting pulled aside for a full methodical search to remove every single improperly stored battery. So, how do you fix this? It's actually really simple. Pack your spare batteries in their original boxes or get some dedicated battery cases that cover the terminals. This one tiny step prevents a potential disaster that could force your plane to make an unscheduled landing. Okay, so you did the right thing. You dutifully emptied your water bottle before getting in the security line, but now you're watching the TSA agent pull your bag aside for inspection anyway. What gives? Here's the inside scoop. Smugglers have been using empty bottles with false bottoms and hidden compartments to sneak prohibited liquids through. Because of this, TSA now treats certain types of empty bottles as suspicious, and that means they require a closer look. The real issue here is X-ray visibility. Those thick-walled stainless steel bottles, the vacuum-insulated ones, and any bulky metal designs basically show up as a solid black mass on the security scanner. The agents can't see through the dense material to confirm that the bottle is actually empty, and that automatically triggers a manual inspection. You know those expensive Hydro Flask and Yeti bottles that can cost $50 or more? They get confiscated every single day because their double wall construction completely blocks the X-ray. TSA will flag bottles that have a really wide base, an unusual shape, or just feel too heavy for an empty bottle. During the search, agents will physically shake it, unscrew the cap, and sometimes they'll even need you to completely take it apart so they can inspect for any hidden compartments. The vacuum-insulated bottles are a huge problem because their design naturally creates spaces that can't be checked with the scanner. So, here's the smart solution. Ditch the fancy metal bottle and pack a clear plastic one or one of those cool collapsible silicone bottles. When they go through the X-ray, it's obvious they're empty. The scanner can see right through them, which eliminates any suspicion about what you might be hiding. The safest water bottle for travel isn't the most expensive one. It's the one that looks completely harmless to a security scanner. You made it. You got through security. You walked all the way to your gate. And just as you're about to board, the gate agent tells you your carry-on needs to be checked for a $50 fee. But wait, your bag fit perfectly in that little sizing bin at check-in. What just happened? Welcome to the new reality. Airlines are quietly but very strictly enforcing carry-on weight limits that most of us don't even know exist. These typically range from just 15 to 22 lb, depending on the airline. Here's why this catches everyone by surprise. Your bag might be the perfect size, but it fails the weight test. This is especially true on smaller regional jets that have much stricter weight limits because of their cargo space. Gate agents are now walking around with handheld scales, and they are enforcing these rules right at boarding. They're specifically targeting bags that look a little too stuffed or feel heavy when you lift them. And the financial hit is brutal. A gate check fee can be anywhere from $50 to $100, which is often double what you would have paid if you just checked the bag in advance. The airlines know they have you in a corner. At this point, your only choice is to pay up or risk missing your flight. What's making your bag so heavy? Laptops, hardcover books, souvenirs, an extra pair of shoes, and even those travel-sized toiletries. They seem light on their own, but they add up incredibly fast. So, what's your prevention strategy? Before you leave the house, weigh your packed bag with a simple luggage scale. If it's over the limit, move heavier items like your laptop and books into your personal item instead. Taking a minute to look up your airline-specific weight limit can save you more money than any packing cube ever will. You're standing in the security line, and of course it's not moving. You see agents have pulled someone's bag aside. They're opening up containers, testing substances, and a long line of annoyed travelers is just waiting behind them. The culprit? A big container of protein powder that triggered the TSA's 12 Oz powder rule. Here's the deal. Any powder-like substance over 12 Oz, that's about the size of a can of soda, automatically requires additional screening. It doesn't matter what the powder actually is. The reason powders are such a headache for security is that they can be used to mask the X-ray signature of explosives and other dangerous materials. This makes the normal scanner totally unreliable. TSA can't tell the difference between your harmless protein powder and something dangerous without doing a manual inspection. So, they have to test everything above that size limit. And what counts as a suspicious powder? It's a long list. Protein supplements, ground coffee, cooking spices, makeup powder, baby formula, even powdered medications. All of it can trigger the screening process. Agents will open up every container, physically test the substance with chemical strips, and sometimes they might even ask you to taste it or demonstrate that your powder is what you say it is. This rule causes serious delays. I'm talking about bodybuilders who miss their connecting flights because agents are spending 20 minutes testing all their different protein containers, or parents who get held up for hours while agents run extensive chemical tests to verify baby formula. Here's your smart packing solution, and it's an easy one. Just divide your powders into smaller containers that are under 12 Oz. If you can keep the original packaging with clear labels and pack your powders in an outer pouch of your bag where they're easy to get to. If you have different kinds of powders, separate them so the agents can inspect them quickly without having to unpack your entire bag. A few minutes spent organizing your powders at home can easily save you 30 minutes of hassle at the airport. You thought you had the perfect travel hack. You've got your small purse, your laptop bag, and a little shopping bag from the duty-free store. They're all tiny, and they all fit under the seat. But now, the gate agent is stopping you, demanding you pay extra fees for having multiple personal items. That old trick just blew up in your face. Why? Because airlines are cracking down, and they're cracking down hard on passengers trying to sneak multiple bags on board. Here's what's changed. Some airlines are installing AI-powered cameras at the gates that can automatically count and measure every single item you're carrying. Gate agents also have handheld scanners that can verify your bag's dimensions in an instant. This new tech is catching what a busy human eye might have missed before. So, what triggers this crackdown? Carrying more than one bag that could be considered a personal item, even if each bag on its own is small enough. A purse plus a laptop bag. To them, that's two personal items. Add a shopping bag or a camera bag, and you're suddenly looking at unexpected fees that can range from $25 to $75 for each extra item. And the list of what they count is long. Purses, laptop bags, shopping bags, camera bags, even those big water bottles that have their own shoulder straps. If it has its own way of being carried, gate agents are counting it as a separate item. So, how do you solve this and consolidate your items? Get creative. Use bags that can nest inside each other. Attach smaller pouches to your main bag with a carabiner, or just invest in a single high-quality bag that has multiple compartments. The key isn't to bring fewer things. It's to make all your things look like one single personal item to the agents and cameras that are scanning for violations. You just dropped $300 on a brand new smart suitcase. It's got built-in charging ports, GPS tracking. It's amazing. But when you get to the gate, the agent tells you it's banned from the flight. Your expensive new luggage is now basically worthless because the battery can't be removed. This is a huge one. Airlines will only allow smart luggage on board if the lithium battery can be completely taken out in a matter of seconds. Most of the popular models out there fail this critical test. The safety issue here is fire risk. Non-removable batteries in luggage can catch fire, and there's no easy way for the flight crew to deal with it. Whether it's in the cargo hold or the overhead bin, a permanently installed battery is a danger that aviation experts just won't accept. Those built-in charging ports, GPS trackers, electronic locks, and digital weight sensors all rely on a permanent battery, which makes the luggage instantly non-compliant. Gate agents are now trained to inspect smart luggage during boarding. They'll refuse to let any bag on board if the battery can't be popped out instantly. They're not going to give you time to fiddle with it or look for some hidden battery compartment. The inspection takes seconds, and if you fail, your bag is rejected. People are literally abandoning their $300 suitcases at the airport every single day, or they're paying huge rush shipping fees to send them home just so they don't miss their flight. Others don't find out about the rule until they get to their destination, and then they're stuck with a non-compliant bag for the trip home. Here's your smart buying solution. Before you buy, make sure the smart luggage has a clearly visible zippered battery compartment that allows for instant removal. And always, always test how to take the battery out at home before you ever leave for the airport. The smartest piece of smart luggage is the one that can quickly become regular luggage when flight safety demands it. You're a packing genius. You can fit a week's worth of clothes into a carry-on. You roll everything tight. You stuff every corner. You are a Tetris master. But for some reason, your perfectly packed bag keeps getting flagged for a manual search. Here's the counterintuitive problem. A bag that is packed too efficiently with every inch of space maximized is actually more likely to trigger additional screening. When you pack items too tightly or layer them too densely, the X-ray scanner can't tell individual objects apart. The machine just sees one big solid mass instead of a collection of separate items, and that's an automatic trigger for a manual inspection. Tightly rolling clothes around your electronics, stuffing your shoes with socks and other small items, and layering electronics between clothes. All these classic space-saving techniques create X-ray shadows that the agents can't see through. And when that manual search happens, it's a pain. The agents will completely unpack your entire bag right there in front of everyone, examining each item one by one before letting you try to cram it all back in. It's not uncommon to spend 15 or 20 minutes repacking your life at the security belt while your family waits and your boarding time gets closer and closer. So, what's the organized packing solution? It's simple. Use packing cubes. They are your best friend. They separate different types of items, which helps the X-ray see things more clearly. Also, leave a little bit of empty space in your bag. Don't pack it to the breaking point and keep your electronics in an easily accessible outer pocket. This approach might look less efficient, but it will actually get you through security way faster than those super tight packing methods that just scream, "Search my bag." You know the 311 rule by heart. Liquids in containers 3.4 Oz or smaller, all fitting in one quart-sized clear bag. Simple, right? Yet, even the most seasoned travelers are still losing expensive items at security because the details of how TSA enforces this rule keep catching people off guard. First, the size of the container matters more than the amount of liquid inside. That half-empty 6 Oz bottle of shampoo, it's getting confiscated even though there's less liquid in it than a full 3 Oz bottle. TSA doesn't care how much liquid is in there. They only look at the maximum capacity printed on the label. Second, TSA's definition of liquid is always expanding. Things you would never expect, like peanut butter, hummus, those gel shoe inserts, cream makeup, and even some thick lip balms, now count as liquids and have to follow the 311 rule. Agents are trained to confiscate items that might not look like a traditional liquid, but fall under their very broad interpretation. The most common mistakes are trying to bring multiple liquid bags, using a bag that isn't clear, or packing oversized containers, no matter what's in them. When an agent spots a violation, they will remove the non-compliant item immediately. You don't get a chance to consolidate or transfer the liquids at the checkpoint. Travelers are losing $50 skincare products, prescription gels, and specialty foods every day because of container size violations they just didn't see coming. That financial hit can add up really fast. Here's how you can make sure you're compliant. Always check the size printed on the container label. Only use a TSA-approved clear bag. And if you're not sure about an item, do a quick search online to see if TSA considers it a liquid. The 311 rule itself hasn't changed, but the way they enforce it keeps getting stricter. You spent $150 on a super high-capacity power bank, but the TSA agent just took it away. Why? Because you couldn't prove it meets the 100 WR limit. The agent might even hand you a calculator and ask you to convert milliamp hours to W hours, right there on the spot. You fail the pop quiz, and your expensive gadget is gone for good. Here's the reality of enforcement. Power banks over 100 W hours are immediately confiscated. The problem is most of them are labeled in milliamp hours, which requires a conversion that trips up even the most tech-savvy travelers. The formula involves multiplying the milliamp hours by the voltage, then dividing by 1,000. But one wrong calculation, and you've lost your device. TSA agents are now examining every power bank label during screening. They'll use their own calculators to verify that it's compliant. If your power bank doesn't have a clear W-hour label, it's getting confiscated. No questions asked. If the label is damaged and can't be read, same story, it's gone. And there are no exceptions for devices that are just slightly over the limit. Travelers are constantly losing their expensive high-capacity power banks because of unclear labeling or a simple miscalculation. That 30,000 MIA power bank might seem safe, but if its voltage is 3.7 volts, it actually calculates out to 111 W hours, which puts you over the limit. So, what's the safe shopping solution? When you're buying a power bank, look for one that is clearly labeled as being under 100 W hours. Keep the original packaging with the readable labels and double-check the ratings before you travel. If the label is unclear, check the manufacturer's website for the W-hour specs. Trust me, it's much better to buy a clearly compliant power bank than to risk losing an expensive one because of some confusing math at a security checkpoint. You packed some homemade trail mix and a few fresh apples for your flight. You're just trying to be healthy and save a little money. But then an agriculture inspector from the USDA hits you with a $300 federal fine. Your innocent little snack just turned into a federal agriculture violation with serious legal consequences that most people never ever see coming. Here's where the confusion comes from. Your carry-on has to pass two separate inspections, TSA Security and USDA Agriculture. And they have completely different sets of rules. Fresh fruits, vegetables, meat products, dairy items, and even processed foods that contain certain restricted ingredients can all trigger an agriculture violation. That homemade beef jerky or that special cheese you bought from a local farm, they count as meat and dairy products, and they're subject to federal imports. And these aren't just TSA agents with basic training. These are specialized federal officers. They have the authority to issue federal fines, confiscate your items, and create a permanent violation record that will follow you through customs databases for years. They're enforcing serious agriculture laws that are designed to prevent disease outbreaks and stop invasive species from entering the country. International travel makes things even more complicated. Foods that are perfectly fine to carry on a domestic flight might be strictly prohibited on an international route. This causes huge problems for connecting passengers who didn't think to research the restrictions at their final destination. You could face a surprise fine for an item that was perfectly legal when you started your trip. Here's your safe food solution. Stick to commercially packaged processed foods that have clear ingredient labels. And before you pack any food at all, research the agriculture restrictions for your destination. A food violation isn't just an inconvenient delay. It can be a federal crime that results in hefty fines and a permanent black mark on your travel record. You need your diabetes medication to live, but the TSA agent just confiscated your insulin because it wasn't in the original pharmacy bottle. Your legitimate life-saving prescription just became a security problem because of a packaging issue that most travelers never even think about. Even when it's a medical necessity, your prescription medication has to meet strict verification requirements that can delay you or even leave you stranded without proper documentation. So, what triggers these medication problems? Transferring your pills to one of those unmarked daily pill organizers is a big one. So, is carrying medication that's prescribed to a family member or having controlled substances without the right paperwork? TSA agents are trained to view loose pills as a potential drug violation that requires an immediate investigation. Any medication in an unmarked container will be confiscated automatically, no matter how much you plead that it's a medical necessity. The screening process can get intense. TSA agents might demand proof of your prescription, call your pharmacy for verification, and even get law enforcement involved if they find controlled substances. Things like ADHD medications, anxiety treatments, and strong pain relievers need official DEA documentation if you're carrying more than a personal use amount. Agents will treat these medications as a potential crime until you can prove otherwise. And scary scenarios happen every single day. Diabetics have their insulin questioned at a critical time. Parents are detained for carrying their children's medication in a bottle with their own name on it. Travelers miss their flights because they're stuck in a lengthy medication verification process that can take hours. So, what's the documentation solution? Keep all of your medications in their original pharmacy bottles with your name clearly visible on the label. Carry a copy of your prescription and a letter from your doctor, especially for controlled substances. And if you're traveling internationally, research the medication restrictions for your destination country. Some countries completely ban medications that are perfectly legal in the United States. Having the proper documentation isn't just about avoiding delays. It's about making sure you have access to the medical treatments you need while you're away from home. You know the rule. I know the rule. We all know the rule about taking electronics out of your bag. And yet, millions of travelers still forget. And it triggers an automatic manual search that could have been completely avoided. This one basic mistake creates delays that ripple through the entire security line and makes the TSA agents look at you like you're either a rookie traveler or you're trying to hide something. Here's why electronics are such a big deal. Laptops, tablets, and gaming devices create dense shadows on the X-ray scanner that can obscure other items in your bag. The machines simply can't see through these thick electronic devices, which forces the agents to physically inspect everything in your bag to clear any potential threats. The issue is obstruction, and it forces a manual search even if you have nothing prohibited. Any device larger than a smartphone has to be removed. This includes tablets, e-readers, gaming consoles like a Nintendo Switch, large cameras, and portable DVD players. It doesn't matter what kind of bag you have. TSA doesn't make exceptions for special laptop bags or electronics organizers. Everything has to come out. When an agent spots an electronic device left inside a bag on their screen, they will pull it and unpack your entire carry-on right there for everyone to see. They'll examine every single item for potential security threats. Business travelers miss their connecting flights all the time because they forgot a laptop in their bag, and it triggered a 20-minute manual search during the busiest time of the day. So, how do you prepare for this? This is the easiest fix of all. Organize your electronics in an outer pouch of your bag where you can get to them easily. Practice taking them out and putting them back at home before you leave. And just always assume that every electronic device needs to come out, no matter its size or what kind of bag it's in. When you properly remove your electronics, it signals to the TSA agents that you're an experienced, compliant traveler who knows the drill. That little bit of credibility can actually help you get through faster and reduces your chances of getting pulled for additional screening. So, there you have it. These 12 flagging triggers aren't just random rules made up to annoy you. They are specific responses to real smuggling attempts and actual safety incidents that airlines and TSA deal with every single day. The stuff they never publicize. Loose batteries have caused fires on planes. Smart luggage batteries have overheated in the cargo hold. And dense packing techniques are used to try and hide prohibited items from the scanners. Here's the bottom line. Spending just 10 minutes organizing your carry-on the right way can save you hours of delays and hundreds of dollars in unexpected fees. Know the rules before they end up costing you your money or your flight. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen get flagged at security? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you found this helpful, make sure to share this video with anyone you know who travels, and subscribe for more insider airport intelligence to keep you one step ahead of the rules. Safe travels.